Hello and welcome to the YBNB show, the show that we run live 3 days a week, Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays, as many of you know, and there are many of you watch it now, so thank you very much for that. Hope it's useful, and any questions that you have either during this or after, always pop them on wherever you're reading it, whether you are on Zoom or YouTube or Instagram or Facebook, just pop it down there and I can come back to you on LinkedIn as well. On Mondays, we talk about body. On Wednesdays, we talk about mindset. Fridays, we talk about business. And sometimes I bring a guest on. I've got a couple of good guests lined up for you this week to talk about things to do with mindset and business. But today I'm talking about body. And I thought I would revisit something that I get asked about all the time. And that is, in order to achieve weight loss and a fit body any time of the year, and, regardless of your age or with what your gender is, how to do it, what to eat, when to eat, what do I think of intermittent fasting, all things like that. So I thought I'd cover that today. There's a few general principles I'll cover first, and then after that I will get a little bit more specific. And then I thought I'd give you just an example of, a typical day of what I eat. I will show you on my Fitness Pal precisely what I'm scheduled to eat today, and we'll see what if any questions you have after that, then by all means you can come on. When you come on YBNB, the program, we actually give you a very bespoke diet to follow, not insofar as the specific things that you must eat every day, but the sorts of foods to eat. So that's what I'll cover. So general principles first of all. There are most people in Western society find, if they start to consider what it is they're eating, and that's maybe point one, a lot of us just don't take any notice of what we eat. We just sort of eat, roughly speaking, breakfast, lunch, dinner, but we don't account for all the other bits and pieces that maybe we're picking at during the day, popping it back and forth to the fridge. Someone offers a biscuit with a cup of tea, a lick of this, a bite of that, a taste of this, all of these things we don't take a lot of notice in, and particularly even if we do, we're not aware of the macro content. Sometimes macro is a completely alien concept for people. They know about calories, but they don't think about macros. And I know myself, before I sort of really became aware of what I was eating, I always thought that calorie counting was something like Weight Watchers. It wasn't healthy. It was a bit obsessive and all of that. Well, I've since learned very, very differently that what gets measured gets done. And why would you not measure what goes into your most prized asset, which in the end of the day is your body? Because if your body breaks down, it's going to impact you more than any other thing. Forget the car, the security system at your house, or anything else that might break down. Forget the taps bursting and all the rest of it at home. Your body breaks down, it just stops everything, really. So why would you not measure, firstly, what goes into your body? Firstly, in quantities, and secondly, in quality. So in terms of quantity and how do you work out what to eat? Well, the first thing, it's very difficult to know, but the first thing is to get a baseline, to actually start to write down exactly what it is that you're eating, so that you can start to understand how many calories you're consuming and what macros you're consuming, because you need to get an understanding first before you then change. What are macros? Well, the main one, it's the constituents of food, basically. And the main three, and there are many, but the main three are carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. You can get different types. You can get sort of good carbs and bad carbs, let's say. You can get good fats, bad fats. You can get different types of protein. And another one, a really important one, is fiber as well. How much fiber do you get in your diet? But we start off by identifying an optimal combination of those three macros: carbs, fat, and protein. If you have enough protein, then you can either maintain or build muscle. That's basic, very, very simplistically, that's why we want protein. It's the building blocks for our body. You don't have to eat it from meat, although obviously you can get it a lot from meat. You can get it from non-animal sources as well, like lentils and pulses and nuts. There's protein in most vegetables and things like that. And then there's the vegetarian type foods as well, tofu and things like that. Get it from yogurts and eggs, and if people are not vegan. But protein is the sort of the main building block. Then you need your energy sources, and your energy sources come from carbohydrates. And carbs can be what I say, the good carbs. So things like the beans that I mentioned, but also vegetables. So you can have many, many vegetables, all different types. The better, combine. The more colourful, the more different types, the better. But that's what gives you your fibre as well. And or you can have what I call the bad carbs, which are really the refined sugars, the things like donuts, biscuits, pastries, which obviously we all love. Everyone likes them, but in moderation. It shouldn't be your sole source of carbs, which it is for many people. And then the third type of main macro is fats. And strangely, I've seen some diets that say stay away from fats, but fats are really essential for you, and especially the good fats from things like nuts and avocado. And they are very extremely essential really for your body. They call them essential fats, and so I can come to carry on and talk about that in some detail as well. But so those are the three main components of what to eat. Other sort of important general principles are to try to spread your nutrition out across the day, and I'll come on to exact timings in a moment. But if you spread it across the day, then number one, you don't sort of feel absolutely starving and full of cravings. And secondly, it enables you to maintain your energy levels all through the day as well. Another important principle is obviously to drink a lot of water. So you can get that in various forms, but just to keep having water with you. Techniques include things like whenever you sort of start a Zoom meeting, or a phone call, just get yourself a glass of water, and just have water around the house as well if you keep forgetting, and try to drink, sort of 2-3 litres, maybe even 4, depending on your size, but try and drink as much water as you possibly can. But if you have to, then get it in different sources, get it from things like green tea. Excuse me for a minute, I've just got someone banging on the door. Sorry, this is live now. But not things like coffee, etc., because coffee actually is a diuretic, so that would actually, although you think that you're drinking water in it, is actually going to stop you feeling that you're hydrated. So the important thing with water is to be hydrated. You do get as well a lot of hydration from things like vegetables and from juicy fruits and things like that. But on fruit, a lot of people, they eat fruit, they say, I'm really healthy, I eat lots of fruit. There's a lot of sugar in fruit, so try to restrict your fruit to maybe no more than a couple of servings of that per day. So those are some general principles. A variety of foods basically, and whole foods as well. If it's coming from a box, if it's being packaged, if people are doing a lot of things with it before it actually turns up on your dinner table, then what you realize is that it's been over processed. So trying to eat from the land, as it were, trying to eat fresh vegetables, trying to get your meat from an organic source, if you've got a local butcher who does organic, sources their meat organically. So good quality meats is so important for you, because otherwise, if you don't know what's going in it, then it's been proven that, overly processed food and food with lots of, meats with lots of antibiotics and things like that, obviously that is going to filter through into our body. So as natural as you can with your foods, the better. People ask about things like alcohol. In moderation, I think everything is fine as long as it only makes up a tiny proportion of what you eat. So I would be saying that 80% of what you're eating, try to make it whole food. So that's the sort of just some general principles. Now, in terms of quantity, I'm looking down here because I've got my Fitness Pal out, and I thought what I'd tell you first of all is my own, what I'm currently eating at the moment. So I weigh 50 kgs. Now that's a couple of kgs heavier than my photo shoot, my first photo shoot weight, which is 48 kgs, which is very light, but you have to go very lean to be able to see all of your lines, your abs and everything like that. And it's good to sort of lean down to get a sort of a nice base. And then after that, you can really build your muscle, and try to avoid then building too much fat at the same time. Although when you're building muscle, you do build a bit of fat as well. But so what I'm on at the moment for training days, 1,720 calories. So about 1,700 calories, and that consists of quite a lot of protein, 130 grams of protein, more carbs than I would normally have if I was just maintaining. So I'm in a situation at the moment where I'm trying to build more muscle. So 210 grams of carbs, and 40 grams of fat. And then on my non-training days, I increase my fat by 10 grams to 50 grams, and I reduce my carbs to about 150. So, and then I go on about 1500 calories. So at the moment, because I'm sort of following a plan where I'm trying to build some muscle, but not, I'm trying not to put too much fat on as well. I'm on about 1700 calories. So let me give you today what I'm planning to eat, because that will just give you an idea of how to, practically speaking, implement all of those guidelines that I've just mentioned to you. So firstly, I said to you, didn't I, to spread it out across the day. So I tend to eat 5 different meals. So breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then 2 snacks. So that's how I spread it out. I try to have, I said to you about wanting your energy levels to be high. So I try to get my carbs more sort of loaded towards the front of the day than the end, because obviously, I'm going to be doing a lot. I've got to train still today. I want to do at least 10,000 steps. So trying to load the carbs towards the beginning, although, generally speaking, for most people, unless you're preparing to be in a competition, that probably doesn't matter quite so much. And I try to get a sprinkling of sort of healthy fats all the way through. So for breakfast, when I very first wake up, those of you who follow me know that I like bulletproof coffee. I just like to have some protein straight away. Obviously, I love coffee like many of us do, and I like to get some healthy fats as well. So I had 2 scoops of collagen protein. I use the bulletproof collagen protein in my coffee. It dissolves straight away into black coffee. I always grind my own beans. I use bulletproof black coffee, and I put 5 grams of MCT oil, which is a refined coconut oil, and 5 grams of ghee in there. So that was the coffee that I had. And shortly after that, I had 60 grams of oats, so organic Alara oats, and I had some blueberries. I had 50 grams of blueberries. So that was for breakfast. And then for a snack, which I've literally just had, I had a little pot of 0% Fade yogurt, so 170 grams of that. I had 2 little bananas, so it was just over 105 grams of bananas, and I had a whole green pepper that I sliced up. So having veggies with every single one of your foods. So I had the blueberries and I had the banana with the snacks. So I won't have any more fruit now, but trying to have veggies with all of your foods as you go through the day really helps. I've had that pepper already. I may well have a green juice as well, which I would have made with celery, cucumber. So these are really low in calories, but really good in nutrients. Probably put broccoli or courgette or something like that in it. Maybe half an apple, half a lemon, some mint, some ginger if I've got it. So I'll have that as a juice as well. And then what's left over, the remnants of that, I'll probably put in with dinner later on. So then for lunch, I'm going to have 3 egg whites. I'm going to have some rye bread, 140 grams is probably 2 slices. I'm going to have 1.5 tomatoes, and I'll probably put a little bit of Marmite on the bread as well. So that's what I have for lunch. So you can see that I'm bringing up the carbs and making sure I get the protein and having some sort of veg with every food. Then for the snack in the afternoon, I'll have a couple of rice cakes. I'll have a red pepper. So I'll slice that up. I'll have a little bit of peanut butter on it, so that will have good fats in it as well. And then for dinner tonight, I've scheduled to have some 5% beef mince, some tinned tomatoes, some raw courgette. I'll probably put a load of different herbs in there, and some steamed basmati rice. And then depending on how many calories I've got about 85 calories left after. I might have something else after. I don't know, maybe another yogurt or something like that. So that will give me, so that's quite a lot of food. That'll give me 1,720 calories by the time I've finished. I've spread out the protein, the fat, the carbs all the way through. And so I've given myself the building blocks. I've given myself the ability to be energetic all day. And, they're all whole foods, lots of veggies in there. And because I haven't mentioned the other vegetables that will come out of the juice, that I'll probably put them with the dinner as well. That'll probably make up the 85 calories actually. And so I always plan so that's actually, we're coming on to the planning side of it. I always plan the night before what I'm going to have tomorrow. Sometimes then I copy days across, but usually speaking, I'm thinking about what have I got in the fridge? Where am I going? What is it I'll be able to have? And I tend to give myself about 100 calories leeway like I've done here, because for example, I'm going to meet my son after this, and I might just have a quick coffee with him. So, things like that will come up. So I try to be pretty strict with it. And it sounds complex, but it's really not. And what it means is that you can basically build whatever body it is that you want. And I think I'll just sort of finish with that, is that, before I get onto that point, when people say to me, what do I think about intermittent fasting and, juicing and all of that? Well, all of those things are really doing what I've just described. They are keeping you in a slight calorie deficit. For me, I'm actually on a build now, which means I'm in a slight calorie surplus. So I'm trying to build muscle. But when you're trying to lose body fat, you go into a slight deficit. And that's what intermittent fasting and juicing and things of that nature are. They are basically restricting the amount of time that you have available to eat. And if you're restricted like that, then you're less likely to go over in your calories. And so it helps you with a calorie deficit. I mean, people have been looking at choosing calorie deficits for many years. There was a scientist, I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but in the Lifespan book, where he was in the 18th century talking about prolonging his age through only eating something like 12 ounces of food per day. I think that's what he said, and only 2 glasses of wine per day. I think that was his health tip. On that point with alcohol, by the way, yeah, you can do alcohol. Champagne tends to be one of the lowest alcohol, 117 calories. Gin and tonic with slimline, also only 57 calories. I know these things. A martini, again, if you have something like a cucumber martini, low calories. And so that way, you can still go out and have a drink, but you can keep it within your macros, as we say. And then that means that you're not necessarily really missing out. But, you can have one drink. I wouldn't say more than one, because if you have more than one drink, you're using up too much of your nutritional allocation. And not just that, when you drink, it makes you want to eat other naughty things. So probably stick to one when you're out. What if you are really trying to build a body? And so then on that point, I mean, obviously other principles about building body are all the things to do with mindset, sleep and everything, but we're talking food today. You can't actually lose fat from particular parts of your body just by what you eat, if this makes sense. You can't spot reduce fat. That's what I meant to say. When you're trying to lose body fat, to sort of really lean down to see what you've actually got there in terms of your abs and everything, you just have to let the body do its thing. You keep yourself in a tiny deficit. And what I said at the beginning is that it's important, first of all, to record what you're actually eating on a normal day so that we can understand what you consume to get you where you are now. And then what we do is we can work out, underneath that, just a small deficit, because we don't want people to starve, because if they starve, then they cave, they, as soon as, they do it for a few days and then they just can't sustain. So we put them in a tiny deficit and allow people to lose their weight slowly. So I've been doing this, for since October 2016 now. So getting, 4.5 years, almost 5 years. And so I know exactly how my body responds and where I like to sit at maintenance. And building muscle like I'm doing at the moment is actually quite a new thing for me, but I trust in this process because I know it. But talking about spot reduction of fat, you can't do that. You get yourself in a deficit, your body does its thing, and you lose fat from all over the place. So say, for example, someone says, I really don't like my thighs, they're too fat, or my belly, this is where I've got most of the fat. Unfortunately, the body just loses fat from everywhere. And as I think I've said before, it'll come off your head, your fingers, your legs, your toes, everywhere that you're not, you don't really sort of know, and you're spending your time just looking at your belly. And then all of a sudden one day you look at yourself in the mirror and wow, the fat seems to have gone from everywhere and people start to really notice it. So you have to just, over time, allow the body to do its thing. And you do that by staying in a small, consistent deficit with good quality macros. The great news, though, is once you've got down to a point of leanness that is right for you, and that's different for everybody. So for me, it was 48 kgs where I was, where I wanted to be to sort of look that way in the photo shoot. You can spot develop muscle. So if you look at your body and you think, well, you know what, I really want like bigger shoulders, or I want a bigger bum or bigger biceps or whatever, then you can decide, okay, well, I'm going to do more work on my biceps, or I'm going to do lots and lots of hip thrusts, and to be able to get a bigger, more lifted bum, or whatever it is that people try to achieve, or really going to do a lot of work in my core because I want to get my abs more pronounced. So you can do that with training, but with fat loss, you can't. You just have to stay in deficit. So I hope that's been really useful. That was just an example. I hope not too boring either, going through all my menu, but that's how I tend to eat most days. But of course, like everybody, I'll have a pastry, I'll have a spaghetti bolognese, I'll have a, whatever's there, I will have it. And I'll have to just assess then how it's going to impact my macros, what else I might take out of it. And you become very aware when you eat like this, that if you're going to have a donut, then that means that you're probably not going to be able to have, what would I take out of here? I would take out, probably some of the rye bread. I probably would take out, I don't know, the banana. And what you're effectively doing is you're swapping out a non-healthy source. You're bringing that in and taking out one of your healthy sources of food. And when you start to think like that, it stops you making those choices quite so often, because why would you do that? Like I said at the beginning, your one and only vehicle, your body, your prized asset. Why would you do that on a regular basis? So I'll leave you with that thought. I hope that's been really useful. I'd love to work with you on YBNB. If you want to join us, you can. We've got 3 different options. We've got a straightforward online option where you can join, and all of the content that we've been creating all over lockdown is all there. So you can come on, you can do it at your own pace, you can do all the workouts, or alternatively, you can actually join the coaching group, where then, I give the live coaching to you on a one-to-many basis. You come on the coaching calls, you come on the live workouts, and you have a check-in once a week and all of that. And we do that for 3 months, a season at a time. Many people repeat the seasons as well. Or alternatively, you can you can have private coaching with me. But to do that, then I would speak to you and find out what your goals are and everything. So that's really it for today. Lovely to talk to you. I hope you have a lovely week. The weather looks nice. I haven't been out yet, so I'm just about to go out now. So have a great week. Hope everything goes well for you, and I'll see you